Hello, and welcome to this special playoff edition of Coaches Say the Strangest Things with Coach Chad Grier. Coach, congratulations. You won the first playoff game in the history of Oceanside Collegiate Academy on Friday night. That's a huge milestone.
Yep, boys did a great job. Very proud of them.
First of many, hopefully. And this week we have Whale Branch coming up. But before we get there, let's take a quick look back. Actually, before we talk football, let's talk coaching staff and Coach Nate Greene. I know all the fans and you and the coaching staff and the school are concerned about him. And can you give us an update?
So, last week we talked a lot about the message before the game was facing adversity in life and how you face it head on and say bring it, and just you keep moving forward into it. And when you got nothing left to give, you stand back up and you look in the eyes and you move forward. And we've got such a great example of that in Coach Greene. I mean, that's what he's been doing for a year. You wouldn't know it, more than a year really, but you wouldn't know he's battling it unless you knew. He looks in the eyes and he just keeps moving forward. And it's not easy and it's tough. He's in a hard spot right now. He needs your prayers. He's still in the hospital right now with some of the medication that he's taking, and I hope to get him home soon. I know that he watched the game Friday night. Really enjoyed you and Dandy Don there, and I know he watched this live stream of the volleyball game Saturday. He loves our kids. He loves our school. We love Nate, and we're excited for him to get healthy enough to get back to us here really soon. But,
well, thank you. It's makes doing the live stream worthwhile to know that Coach Greene was able to watch that game on Friday, because I know he hated not being there.
Absolutely.
So let's talk about the Andrews game quickly. Sean Cooney had some gaudy statistics, 5 touchdowns, I think, over 300 yards passing.
What do you mean you think? You know that?
Well, it's math.
It's like a guess. I mean, he had 5 touchdowns. Yes.
He had 5 touchdowns. I think some of the passing yardage was helped by some pretty long runs after the catch. Is the only qualification I would put, because Keegan had a big game. Joel had some nice runs after the catch as well.
Yeah, no doubt. That's very observant.
You're gonna really make me work for my answers today.
I really was gonna go full Belichick on you with the whole coaches say strangest things, but whatever. The boys. I think is one of the coolest things about what we're doing offensively in the passing game anyway is that we've got 13 different kids have caught a pass this year. 9 different kids have scored. Sean's done a really good job of running the offense. He's not locked in on one guy. We're not just throwing, bubbles or slants or screens or goes. I mean, he's running more of a sophisticated offense. He's going through movement keys and pre-snap reads and progressions and taking care of the football. God, I'm afraid to jinx him, and I better not, because I'm not superstitious, but might be a little stitious. But he's got 27 touchdowns and only 4 interceptions, and 2 of those came on tip balls in the same game. He's really done a great job taking care of the ball, running the offense, multiple guys getting involved. And so even Friday night, 5 touchdowns to 4 different receivers. That's and great. The guys just keep stepping up, making plays. I mean, Joel on 4th down, on the first drive, wet field. We knew it was wet. We do our pregame walk. We knew right where it was wet. And, of course, in all my genius, I call a double-cut route into the wet, soggy stuff. And Joel slips immediately back to his feet, lays out, makes the catch. Their guy actually slipped twice in the same spot, but huge first down conversion. And I've said this a lot about Sean. He'll make a mistake on 1st or 2nd down, even early in the game. He just until he settles in. But boy, he is clutch on 3rd and 4th down. Really and our kids are clutch. I mean, they keep making plays on 3rds and 4th downs, and we keep converting and moving, and it gives me a lot of confidence. I hate to punt anyway, so a lot of confidence to go for it. We went for that one. On our side of the 50, and I didn't blink an eye because I just had great confidence the kids would execute, and they did.
On defense, you seem to be running some new and different formations, stacking the box with some big bodies to stop that running game.
Well, look, what Andrews did, they do very well. As you saw, 25 is a load. Man, that's a big dude.
He is.
I mean, I personally have no interest in trying to tackle that big rascal.
I said the same thing.
Yeah. And I think Coach Jackson, our defensive staff, did a really good job of trying to scheme each week. We talked about this before. We don't just show up on Friday nights and roll the balls out and do what we do. Our practices aren't about just, hey, these are the things we do, so we'll just go out and run some plays. I mean, we game plan every week, and I think we were here yesterday. I don't even want to admit how long we were here yesterday, but in fairness to in respect to Coach Jackson and the staff. I mean, last week he had a game plan ready to go out to practice on Monday to play Latta.
Right.
And literally, I mean, we're less than an hour before practice, and I'm saying, hey, man, scrap, they're playing Well Branch. And we don't have any film, and we're scrambling around trying to figure out, well, all right, so defensively, that's a triple option team. We've got to do some things differently. You can't just roll out and line up and play base on that. So, and it took us a minute. Their first drive, we had some blown assignments on option. That's an assignment football kind of deal. We didn't do a great job of that. But as the game went on, especially coming out the second half, just did a great job getting off the field, 3 and out. We went and scored, and really, felt very comfortable with the game at that point.
So the final score in that one was 58-36. Before the game, there was, amongst the fan base, some debating on Insta-Team about whether you can use, what are those horns called? The air horns or something?
Air horns.
I call them very loud and obnoxious horns. And you've checked on the rule. Let's get this straight once and for all.
I think somebody used one of those recently. I thought I saw. No.
I don't know what you're talking about.
I'm not allowed to say, I guess.
No.
Oh, okay.
No, there's mutually assured destruction here.
Okay.
So can the fans bring and use air horns and cowbells and other artificial noisemakers or not?
Didn't we just talk about this? You know the answer to this.
I do, but
Well, why
they
are you
don't
asking
know
me?
the answer.
Well, why didn't you just tell them? Why do you have to ask me when you know the answer?
You don't want to be the bad guy.
I mean, this
and
is
people,
this is like
people don't
this is
believe
the
me
lawyer
anyway.
and you asked and answered. Can I say that? Your Honor, asked and answered.
You sound like somebody who's had their deposition taken before.
Unfortunately, that didn't go well for me.
Well, you just needed a better lawyer.
I needed a better lawyer.
I got your
No,
back.
no air horns. You can't. State rule is no artificial noisemakers, so can't bring air horns, cowbells. It's kind of a little bit like the NFL, the no fun league, I guess. We just, can't do it. But we can make signs. We'll make signs. I guess that's okay for outside sports. Inside sports, not allowed to do signs. But it's going to be cold, maybe even a little wet. So hey, bundle up and drink some hot chocolate and coffee and get ready to cheer loud for us. We're going to need it. It's going to be a tough ball game for us.
So let's, before we talk about Well Branch, great article in the Moultrie News about Sergio.
Yeah, that was the Post and Courier, but yes.
Oh, was it?
It was a
Okay.
newspaper, right.
I read it online, so.
Yeah, okay. No, it was a great article and, brought back a lot of, emotional kind of stuff. I mean, Sergio was just a tremendous young man, loved and adored by kids here, coaches, teachers, everybody, and really sweet family. Great restaurant, Carmen Iwan, if you over here right across the street from the school, great place to go eat and just good people, and just tragic losing Sergio. And we do honor him. It's tough because we wanted to let him pass and rest in peace, but the way we honor him now is that we line up. It's kind of a standard thing in football. You line up at the 20-yard line, kind of for your last pregame deal. You see us go shoulder to shoulder. We're doing our squad check, and then we run a couple plays and kick before we go into the locker room. And instead of lining up at the 20, we line up at the 19. We do that we always, as long as I'm here, we'll always line up at the 19 just to honor Sergio.
Great tribute. All right, Well Branch, they knocked us out of the playoffs last year. What was the score of that game? I don't know.
We lost by 2.
Okay.
They made 3 field goals.
So what do
Two of
we?
them were really like 40 yards.
Okay.
That never happens in high school.
What never happens?
2 40-yard field goals.
Oh yeah, that's
Kid's
true.
pretty good. He's good.
Is he
quick.
still there?
Yeah, he's still there, man.
Yeah, but we got kickers.
We do.
But you know,
and
when
Chris,
you're
in fact,
making 4th downs all the time, though, they don't get much.
he made another field goal. He's Chris has every record about you can set. Sergio still has the record for extra points in the game. He's 9 for 9, and Spencer's set all the records now for touchbacks. He had another one, but Chris had an incredible string of extra points made, broken, but still he's missed one over really the majority of the last 2 years. He's got school records for extra points in a season, career, attempt, season, career, field goals, season, everything. Every really scoring, kicking record we can have. I mean, he's done just an incredible job, and give credit also to Zach with the snaps, and Walker does a great job with the holds, but Chris just has been a tremendous weapon for us as a kicker, as a scorer, and he's going to be a captain this week. First time I ever had a kicker as a game captain. He certainly deserved it. I think this game means a little something to him, and as much as I like to win going away, a little easier on my voice, which is still trying to work its way back. And But I tell Chris every week there's going to be a game where it's going to come down to the last play. He's going to kick a field goal to win it, and maybe it's this week. It would be very poetic for him if it is this week. But I'm very confident that when that time comes, he'll be ready and he'll make the kick.
And I think he wound up in second place all time in South Carolina high school football history with most consecutive PATs. And of course, that streak came to an end last week.
How many?
I don't know that.
Come on.
Numbers.
Where's your crack
lose
research
me.
team? Is Kathleen your research department? Is she doing all that?
Yes, it's all her fault. Everything that goes wrong on this program is Kathleen's fault.
I think it was 68 in a row. Pretty
That's good.
Pretty strong.
You think?
I'm just trying to be nice, let you do some research so you can come back and be the expert. I'm just supposed to be the opinion guy. You got all the facts.
No. You're the fact guy. Whale Branch. The rumor has it that one or two of their better players may be out. Is that true?
Well, unfortunately, because I hate any kid being hurt.
Sure.
In fact, when Seven went down for Andrews the other night, I was concerned it might have been his knee, and I was very relieved that he was able to come back on the field. Kind of good news, bad news, because he's also the most explosive guy they had. I was like, God, he's back. But thank God he's back. Yeah. And I think with Whale Branch, they've got a number 35 is just a really, really good football player, and evidently he broke his leg against Battery Creek, I assume. I can't really see it on film where it happened, but he didn't play in the first playoff game, and I think the boys have seen some stuff on Twitter. Actually, very cool. Keegan had reached out to him on Twitter to, prayers up for him, but he's a really, really good football player. But it sounds like he'll be out. Other than that, I think they're healthy. They've got some really good football players. We saw it up close last year.
And so, from a scheme standpoint, what should we look for on offense from them?
Last year they did surprise a little bit. They do some of the similar things, but they changed some formations, and we kind of expect to see some of that again this year. But they're going to run the football. They're big up front, aggressive. He's still the 35 out helps because he was much like the 34 they had last year, just a big guy that runs hard and hard to tackle, especially in space. But they still got 21's a very good back. So they got some speed back there and size. And I think it's a game, again, physicality is going to be a big deal, and how we manage the line of scrimmage on both sides.
Okay, so it'll be at Whale Branch, which is down around Beaufort, I think.
It's about 2 hours.
I haven't Googled it yet. 2-hour drive.
2 hours.
And you said there may be some weather?
Well, looking at the app this morning, I can't tell you which one it is. It's secret. It's a pay app, and it's my secret weapon. Dark sky. It's $5, but it's worth it.
Oh, I've got dark sky.
Of course you do.
Yeah, it gives me a ding. It's going to rain in 30 minutes.
That's pretty good.
Did it give you a ding and say it might rain Friday night when you're playing Whale Branch?
I've got a special subscription program just for Friday night game time. It looks like it's going to be cold and pretty good chance of rain. So, not a great thing for us where we like to throw the football. But I thought our boys responded to a wet field condition well Friday night. And it's just a mental toughness deal. And we talk all the time about being mentally tough, and everybody's going to play in the same weather. So I think from us getting prepared this week, it'll be cold here Wednesday. It'll be really cold. I think probably similar to what we'll see around game time. And hopefully we'll get a good practice in it and mentally get ready to go compete in some tough weather.
I'm going to get out my polar fleece because it was darn cold even in Andrews on Friday night. But who's complaining? Coach, any final or closing thoughts?
Well, I know you're. I was very proud of you because I know you're a big Mr. Wrestling 2 fan, given that your proclivity for all things local, and you realized he was a local guy. But 35 years ago to the date yesterday, according to the great Mike Mooneyham, who writes the standard article on Sunday paper Post and Courier, back page, big story.
I cannot believe the Post and Courier has a wrestling column.
But 35 years ago to the day, he took on Ric Flair.
Nature Boy. See, I knew that.
The all-time greatest. And
woo.
Do it again.
Woo.
Like you that's too slow. You got to mean it, man. Come on.
That just
you got
kind
to
of
draw it up.
spontaneous. Yeah, no, can't do it.
Not going to do it. Yeah.
You can do it.
I'm not going to do it. That's all. So that was a great
we're just not ending with a bang here today at all.
Well, you wouldn't do it. I gave you a chance with a bang, and I just lobbed you a softball, and you just sat on it.
All right, we're going to do a live feed Friday night, assuming the signal will allow it. If not, we'll definitely do an audio feed. But if we had a signal in Andrews, probably there's going to be a signal in Beaufort because Andrews is a pretty remote location.
But a great facility too to be up for. I thought the interest coming in the stadium was pretty and nice stadium.
It was nice, and the people there were very accommodating too, even though they were not happy about playing the Land Sharks.
Understandably, and no hard feelings, but it'd be nice to have our own stadium, wouldn't it?
It would. What can these people do about that?
Write checks with zeros.
All right, you heard it here first. Thanks, Coach. We'll see you Friday night in Whale Branch.
All right, sounds good.